So, Sheffield Wednesday 0, Sunderland 12. 12, isn't it? Is that a 1? Oh, I just thought with comments it must... Oh, right. It's a two-legged game. It's not, oh, we've gone there, we've lost 1-0, we're out of competition. It's a two-legged game. Essentially, it's an 120-minute match and we're 1-0 down at half-time. We're still in game. That's not shit as sense. Christ. I can't believe some... I mean, yeah, you want to win every game, but let's be realistic. They've got tremendous home form and they're a decent side who are really powered into form towards back end of the season. In fact, I think they've only lost one since Christmas with him. Darren Moore changing it to suit the opposition. But he hasn't, has he? He's played 3-5-2, which is the system that's getting the best out of our players. He's not changed out to face Sunderland. He's not done out to, oh, we'll tweak this because of them. OK, there's an argument hunt for Palmer, but that's our best back three. I don't think anyone would argue with that. That's our best midfield three. And that's our best strike pair. Darren Moore's changed nothing to worry about Sunderland. So that's, well, it's a lot of cobblers, isn't it? In fact, if any manager's changed anything, worrying about the opposition, I think the argument could be that it's Alex Neil who's changed things, worried about Wednesday. Against Morecambe, Sunderland went with a back three. Wright, Bart, O'Neill, Evans, Embleton, Gooch, Pritchard and Roberts across midfield. Roberts a flying left winger. Stewart and Broadhead up front. Now he's changed that to face Wednesday and gone to a back four. Now obviously, Broadhead's out, and it might be that he don't trust his third choice striker to make a decent strike pair. But just as likely, he's thought about Wednesday and thought if we match up 3-5-2, man for man, they might beat us. I think there's every reason to believe he's thought like that. Oh, Darren Moore's changing things, worrying about opposition. That's just not true, is it? If anything, it's probably Sunderland that's changed it to face Wednesday. And rightly so. But they've shown us a bit of respect. Fair enough. Now, we've lost the game and we've played pretty badly. Nobody's arguing toss with that. We've played badly. We've lost 1-0. I think you've also got to give a little bit of credit to the opposition sometimes, you know. When you're looking at a football pitch, there's not just 11 players on park in blue and white. There's 11 opposition players. And sometimes I think you've got to give a little bit of credit and say, oh yeah, they got it as they caught us off guard. And they did catch us off guard. They changed system to a 4-2-3-1 and it did catch us off guard. Especially look at the first 10 minutes. They were looking, the full-backs especially, to chip balls over our wing-backs to their wingers who they'd pushed really high up the pitch, them inside-out wingers, and it were pulling our three centre-backs apart, which causes big problems because Hutchinson on one side, Stoney on the other side, lob balls into the channel. Ironically enough, that's where the sort of goal comes from in the end, but lob balls into the channel, they're having to go out and it's just splitting our back three wide apart. It was an obvious tactic. I mean, the camera zoomed in about 2 minutes in and it's Alex Neil and it zooms in on him, he's actually going like that. That was an obvious plan for the first 10-15 minutes to turn us round, to unsettle us, and it worked, and fair play to him. It caused us a lot of problems. They were flipping it in behind, they were turning us round, and it meant that Palmer on the one side and Johnson on the other side, they were completely taken out of the game. The fullbacks were pushing in up, so they were busy with them, but they weren't afraid to just flip one behind and, like I said, stretch them centre halves out and pull us all over the show. And fair play to him, for the first 15 minutes it was a real onslaught. Wednesday couldn't really get hold of the ball. Byers and Luongo were having to drop and pick up that Pritchard who's floating all over the space. It was a tricky start for Wednesday, but as the game went on, as the half went on, I thought we started to weather it a bit. We still weren't doing anything going forward. We couldn't really get hold of the ball. Yeah, and they were closing us down quick. Because they'd stretched that three across the front, they were closing us down. We couldn't really play it out. Peacock Farrell couldn't bowl it out in the comfortable manner that we can usually when we're playing teams at home, because teams usually sit off us. So they made it difficult, but we grew and grew. And now we're looking at the game in little sort of 5-10 minute blocks. Right, let's get to 50, let's get to 35 minutes, let's get to 40 minutes, let's get to half time 0-0. And as bad as we played on the ball, and as tough as they made it for us, the impetus were all with them. They're at home, there's 42,000 fans there, they're expected to come out and attack, and they'll have been desperate to clock up as many goals as they could. They'll have been looking back their form over the last couple of months at home, they'll have been looking back at the time when they beat us 5-0 and thinking, yeah, let's get something like that for the second leg. But for all that, it's a mistake. It's one mistake. Hutchinson sort of takes his eye off ball. Now, okay, he comes over. I think he can volley it away first time. It then bounces. I think he can volley it away on bounce, on half volley. The second bounce completely kills him because it comes down at a lower trajectory, hits the turf, and it skids away from him, and he's having to U-turn then, and he can't get there in time. He can't get brakes on. Peacock Farrell does quite well, makes a decent block, and let's be honest, on another day, that hits his leg and goes straight back out to edge at D, or it hits his leg and it goes out for a corner. As it is, there's just enough drag on it that it stays in. Great play from Stewart because he banks on it, not going out for a throw, a corner, so he gets there, tucks it away, we're 1-0 down. But it's, for all Sunderland have had all the play, for all Wednesday have played crap and really been caught off guard, and they have been caught off guard because Darren Moore will have been expecting them to play 3-5-2. For all that, it's 1-0. It's a bad time to concede, admittedly, and going into the second half you think, well, these are really going to be at it now. And they were. And we had to weather that storm. There were times in there when we were getting pushed back, Palmer's getting pushed back, Johnson's getting pushed back, and it was like a back five. What's really done us there is them inside-out wingers, because, like I said, they were getting the ball in there quick, or into Stewart quick, and he were getting it out wide to them, or back to Pritchard, and then he were getting it out wide. And every time they were coming inside, because our centre-halves were having to go out to him, and then they were coming inside into that gap because we were strung right open. That's why our wing-backs had to come in and make a 5 to stop that happening, so they could go up wingers and leave our centre-half in the gap for when they cut inside to try and get in and block that. We had a let off, Pritchard's hit the bar and they've had a couple more opportunities. The Peacock Farrell does that daft header to Hutchinson, I don't know what he's thinking there. But for all that, 1-0. Darren Moore ain't got a plan B, he's been tactically outthought. Well, you could say he's been tactically outthought to start the game. Neil has changed it to a back four and one up front. These two inside-out wingers, who were absolute flyers, by the way, really impressed with them, Roberts and Clark. But he can't win there, can he? If he changes Wednesday's system before kick-off, he's worried about opposition. Opposition changed formation before kick-off, and he's been tactically outthought. You just can't win. I think sometimes when people have took against you as a manager, you can't win. They're going to find a fault, whatever you do. But here's the thing. As the game wears on, he makes a substitution. What's he do? Darren Moore goes to a flat back four himself. No plan B. Well, that was a plan B. He's actually done it there, right in front of our eyes. Right, lads, we're taking a bit of a pummeling here. We haven't done it for months since beginning of the season, but we're going to have to do something right. We'll go to a flat back four, we'll move Hutchinson into midfield, and we'll play a sort of hybrid 4-5-1 come 4-4-2. Gregory will be up there, Windass will drop in and make a 5, and when we're attacking, he can get up and make a 4-4-2. What? No plan B? That was exactly a plan B. And in fact, for all their play, And they did batter us in terms of possession first half and getting at us, and then, like I said, them wingers caused us a lot of problems. For all that, the last 25, 30 minutes, Wednesday had a fair old pop at it. Okay, we 1-0 down, but I thought that last half an hour, I thought we were growing into the game in a way that, to be honest with you, I didn't expect. I thought we'd just sit and keep taking that pummeling like a boxer on ropes and just try and keep it to 1. But we actually went out, he changed the system, he tweaked the back four, tweaked midfield, and suddenly we're back in again. Didn't think we'd look like scoring, but it changed the momentum. It took a little bit of sting out of their tail. Sometimes that's enough. Just doing that might have kept that game at 1-0 and stopped them getting a 2-0. Now some people say, well, that's not positive. Winning a game's positive. Scoring an equaliser's positive. It's little fractions in football. That last half an hour of Wednesday's play quite possibly kept that at 1-0, which, going into the second leg, fair enough. I think that gives us a decent position. Especially when we've got the best home form of any team in English League football. As I said before, see it as a 120-minute long match. We're 1-0 down at half-time. There's plenty to play for. Not to worry about. We can get back in this game, I've got no doubt about that. It'll be tough, and in many ways you could say next goal winner. But if it's Wednesday, and if you look at our goal scored in at home and our record at home, I think we've got every opportunity here to get a result against these. I don't think it's Wednesday's fucked it up again that a lot of people are painting it as. Plenty of teams gone to Sunderland this year and got no, including ourselves when we got pasted 5-0. So, yeah, they had all that play first half. If you ask any Sunderland fans, there'll be one or two of them saying it's squeaky bum time for them now. You know what I mean? They've got to come down here and get a result now. So, it's all to play for. I know people get stressed and emotional with the game, but fucking hell. All to play for in front of a packed Hillsborough crowd with our terrific home record. We're well in this game. And I tell you something else. They're a young team. I was surprised. I mean, I'm watching it with my mate. And we're looking at it, and has he got braces on? They've got a lot of young players, and the thing is about young players is, when you're going out and you're all out attacking, that's great. When young kids go and attack, great. Cheers, boss. Off they go. If you're having to defend for 90 minutes, that's a different mentality. That's where experience really comes to fore. And they've got a couple of older campaigners like Danny Bart and whatever, but very, very young side, that Sunderland side. Young keeper, you look at the wingers, they're all young. It's a very young team, and it'll be a different experience for them. Coming here with Wednesday actually having a go at them. Even in that last 20 minutes of that game, there were one or two you could see them looking at bench. What am I doing here? Different mentality when you're defending to attacking. So let's get behind, lads. Let's get rid of this Wednesday's fucked it up again attitude. I think most people would have been happy if we'd gone there and got a draw before game. And for all shellacking that we took in that first half, like I said, it's only took that one mistake for them to score a goal for all the play that they had. It's one mistake, one bounce at ball that got lost when it could have been oofed. One mistake, that's all it takes. One mistake from them, we're back in. So we've got to stick with it. We've got every opportunity of getting back in this game, and honestly, I think we can. I think we will. Let's have a bit of belief. It's not over. It's not over till fat lady sings. You're probably not allowed to say that these days. Fat shaming. But it's not over. Let's get behind, lads. We can still do this.